If you're an outcast, you already know. You don't need me to tell you what it feels like to be ignored, dismissed, or made to feel like you don't matter. You lived it. You've seen how everyone seems to have a place, a role, a function in the larger system. And you're not just left out, you're treated like you deserve to be left out. This isn't just about one group deciding you don't belong. It's the whole system, the integrated machine where every type of normal fits neatly into place. And then there's you, not just without a role, but treated like you don't even deserve one. People say life isn't fair, but they don't understand what that really means. It's not just about bad luck. It's about knowing that no matter how smart, kind, or valuable you are, the system will never make space for you. You can play by all the rules. You could be brilliant, skilled, thoughtful. None of it matters. The system doesn't need you, and worse, it will punish you even for trying to carve out a place of your own. Because the moment you challenge the machine, the moment you refuse to pretend that you are fine with being nothing, you become a problem. And problems get corrected. Here's what people don't understand about being an outcast. It doesn't just make you lonely, it changes the way you think. When you don't belong, you don't have the luxury of blind faith in the system. You see the cracks. You see how things really work. You see that the normies, the ones who fit in, who function effortlessly inside the machine, aren't free. They can only entertain acceptable thoughts. They can only move within acceptable boundaries. And when something challenges their world, they don't process it. They panic. They lash out. They reject it. Not because they've thought about it, but because they can't afford to think about it. Their safety, their identity, their whole existence depends on keeping things simple, familiar, and comfortable. But you don't have that restriction. You don't have a place to protect. And that means you can really see what's happening. And that makes you free. But before you start thinking this is some gift, understand what the trade-off really is. Being an outcast doesn't make you stronger right away. At first, it just makes you suffer. It makes you doubt yourself, wonder if maybe they're right, maybe you are broken, maybe you are worthless. You have to survive that. You have to make it through the years of feeling like you're the one who failed instead of seeing the truth, that the system was never built to include people like you. If you survive that, if you hold on long enough, you develop something the normies never will. The ability to be unshaken. Because once you've lived in discomfort for long enough, you stop fearing it. You stop reacting the way they do. You stop flinching at the truth. You stop needing things to be simple. You can face the worst of life without collapsing under it. While the normies panic at the first sign of disruption, you stand in the fire because you don't burn. If you make it to this point, if you become a fully realized outcast, someone who doesn't need permission to think, to see, to act, you'll still face a cost. Because no matter how much you grow, no matter how much wisdom or strength you gain, you will always be a threat to the system. You will always be at risk of exile, because when you speak, you remind them that their world is fragile, that their beliefs are built on convenience, not truth. And they will turn on you for it. It doesn't matter how much good you do, how much you try to help. If you challenge the structures that keep them safe, they will always push back. That's the nature of the system. That's the nature of being outside it. But listen, just because you're an outcast doesn't mean you're automatically right, or strong, or enlightened. Some outcasts stay stuck. They get bitter. They get resentful. They let exclusion turn into self-destruction instead of transformation. If you're here thinking that being an outcast makes you superior, then you're missing the point. This isn't about feeling special, it's about survival. It's about recognizing that the trade-off for being on the outside is that you can see things differently. But seeing things differently only matters if you do something with it. If you spend your life angry at the world, blaming everyone else, you're just proving them right. So ask yourself, are you using your perspective to grow, to help, to build, or are you just letting it turn into another excuse? Because if all you have is an excuse, then congratulations, you've played yourself. The normies didn't exile you, you exiled yourself. So you have a choice. You can pretend, you can keep your mouth shut, nod when you're supposed to, play the game, and maybe they'll let you stick around the edges. Or you can embrace what you are, accept that you don't belong, and you won't be accepted, and that maybe that's not a weakness, maybe that's power. Because if you stop chasing inclusion, if you stop waiting for the machine to make space for you, you can do something none of them will ever be able to do. You can be free. Free to think, free to question, free to challenge, free to act without permission. And with that freedom, you can do something else. You can help. You can be the person you needed when you were younger. You can stand up for people who aren't strong enough to stand up on their own. You can refuse to let the system crush the ones who haven't figured out how to survive it yet. You can make a difference, not because it will earn you a place inside, but because they won't, and someone has to. If you're an outcast, you're always going to be one. No speech, no revelation, no moment of clarity is going to change that. You weren't built for the machine, and it wasn't built for you. But that doesn't mean you're worthless. It doesn't mean you're broken. It means you have something the rest of them don't. The ability to step outside the lie, to see things as they really are, to stand in the chaos and not break. That's not an easy life, but it's a powerful one. And if you can hold on to that power, if you can own it, you won't need their approval. You won't need their permission. You'll finally be what they never let you be. Enough.